speeches. And tell us, Ricardo, tell us at the end why you believe your team won this debate. Remember, so this is your chance.
Okay. So first of all, thank you all for your attention during this wonderful debate. I would like to warmly thank Ismael for his speech. It was wonderful. Thank you very much. And now I would like to talk to you about the main points of our group and why we did won the debate. So first thing that I want to talk about is about how big companies get powerful, more and more powerful, and how small entrepreneurs cannot compete with these big companies. If you think about, for example, Zara producing clothes in Bangladesh or wherever, how cheap they can sell their products comparing to a small entrepreneur who wants to produce here in Finland, paying high taxes and high salaries. So it's basically impossible for you to start your own brand here and compete with H&M and Zara, for example. Another example is regarding culture and how local culture can get lost when you have globalization bringing hamburgers and hot dogs and pizzas. Who is going to buy pyttipano in Finland? So this is really important for the culture, and we cannot lose it. So you go out and you want to eat pyttipano after, but there's just McDonald's open. That's bad. Another point that we already discussed here, and I would like to talk a little bit more about it, is about the climate changes and global warming. For example, in Lapland, imagine if we don't have that long winter anymore. How can the entrepreneurs working with tourism in Lapland survive? You know, and the global warming is caused by the globalization. A lot of production, a lot of consumption, things that we don't really need, and we keep wasting our natural resources on that, and it can harm small entrepreneurs. Another important thing that I would like to share with you is an example that we find in US and probably will happen here as well. In the late 50s there, companies used to, the taxes paid for companies used to be 30% of the revenue of the US. So 30% of the US money was from taxes paid by companies, big companies. And nowadays, it's just 10%. So big companies pay less and less taxes, and they become richer, stronger, and more powerful. How can a small entrepreneur start a new business to compete with these same big sharks that you have, that have these agreements with government, and at some point, in some cases, companies can be even more powerful than the country, and that's really bad for small entrepreneurship. Another interesting thing happened in Turku. They had a shipyard in Turku, and they were planning to build a big ship, and they opened the competition, and the government gave more and more, how can I say, support for the big companies, and less taxes, and more advantages. So a big company for sure won the competition. Small companies cannot compete when the government support the big ones. So based on that, I strongly believe that globalization is harmful for entrepreneurs, because they help, yes, big companies. They have the money, they have the power, and they have the government support, and with that they can succeed, but not the small ones. So I would like to finish my speech just going through the main points, and strongly believe that with that we won the debate today. Big companies getting bigger and stronger, small entrepreneurs cannot compete with that. Government support big companies more and more and harm small entrepreneurs as well. And globalization helps with the global warming, climate changes, and animals dying because of that. So I hope you agree with me. I'm sure that you will if you listen to all the points. And I would like to thank you and welcome to our last speech with Omolara. Thank you very much.
That help, bro.
No questions?
Sit down, no questions. Sit down, bro.
For your contribution.
No questions.
No questions after the third speaker. This is it. All right, Omolara, please tell us why you believe your team won this debate. Give us an analysis and stand your point.
Yeah, thanks everybody for the debate. Thanks Ricardo for the arguments. Based on what Ricardo has said so far, I want to change an impression that entrepreneurship doesn't really mean big or small company. Entrepreneurship is a thing of the mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's not a full-time or part-time job. It's a lifestyle, it's mindset. And when you're an entrepreneur, you are solution-oriented. No matter what is coming your way, you have to enter. One of the major principles of entrepreneurship is risk taker. They take risk. It doesn't matter what type of risk. They look at the future of something even beyond the height of what you can see. So from those points, I'm going to talk about some things. I think somebody asked the question from our opponents that aside breaking barriers among countries for entrepreneurs, what other things did globalization have done so far? So social-wise, if we're talking about the social network, we can see globalization has promoted different cultures, different societies, getting to know more and more about ourselves. Like there was an integration they organized for SAMPO16, because in SAMPO16 we have 21 nationalities. We're from different countries and we're studying to be future entrepreneurs, a sales personnel very soon. So different nationalities coming together to learn about each other's culture. And I think in most African countries, we don't really have female entrepreneurs, but coming here and learning, we see that entrepreneurship among females is being encouraged in this society. And the society in Africa and other places are becoming more advanced and advanced every day due to globalization and common language that we speak together. And another point I'm going to talk about is somebody said less industrialized countries become their output or something. I don't know how it was framed. But I think the last debate we had, an example was cited of Hungary. And they said Hungary doesn't produce anything. They do most of their things from import, but they're surviving and they're living fine. Most of their everything was coming from outside. They were imports, but they're enjoying all the facilities that other countries, in European countries, are enjoying, like lights, other major facilities, and entrepreneurship. And globalization has also promoted the use of information and communication technology among entrepreneurs. Everything is being advanced, and the laws of cultural identity. Nobody cited an example of Finhere. Finhere, if you know the major history of Finhere is not limited to Finland. Finhere is majorly between Europe and Asia. And this is one of the advantages of entrepreneur. It makes us, we market and we exchange values between different countries. And another one is gender equality. I've mentioned that earlier, both are entrepreneurs. Ricardo cited an example of Zara being a big company, but Rome wasn't built in a day. They started as a small and medium-sized enterprise. Yeah, I want to change that. So even the present companies that are starting, the startup companies now, and one major point I have is the Finnish government, they support startup companies a lot. They give a lot of support to startup companies so that they can encourage the society and make everybody be involved in work. So I'm going to conclude that globalization makes the world a better place and a smaller place. We get to see ourselves, we get to influence ourselves positively, we get to exchange values among ourselves. And one major thing I'm going to say is the pessimists, like our opponents, they complain about the wind. When you see a wind coming, pessimists start complaining. The optimists expect it to change, like no, they need a change. And the leader adjusts the sail. you know where you are heading to. Like, if this way is not going right, then you have to change to this way. Thank you.
Boom. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, there we are. Done with the debate. Congratulations.
Why don't we ask questions now?
Third person, no question.
Well, could I ask, please, former students? Former students, where are you? Former students. Raise your hands, former students. Could I please ask you to exit the room for a while, and when you come back, I want you to name the best speaker in each team, all right? Best speaker in each team. And the reason why you decided that.
I should have done that.